In today's topic, we're going to talk about parenting. So if you're a parent to small children or if you have small nieces or nephews, then this video is for you. Hi lovelies! Welcome back. My name is Geraldine B. If you're new here, I talk about health, parenting, and intentional living around minimalism, saving, and investing money. So if you're interested with that, feel free to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And let me start by saying that be comfortable of your own parenting style. And if you're a parent right now, or if you're someone who's taking care of small children, I commend you for doing such a challenging job. There's no perfect or standard way of doing it. I'm going to share with you today ideas. It's not even tips because you don't need to do this. First step is to normalize conversation around taboo topics. Topics like sex, drugs, money, abortion, LGBTQ, whatever it is, like recent issues that we have in our society. I think it's important for our children to hear that words from us. Because I always believe that education starts from home and we cannot delegate this task to their teacher, to our church leaders such as pastor or Sunday school teacher. I mean, they are great help, like to supplement our mentoring for our kids, but I think it's our main task to really educate our children. I actually made a videos. I would link that down below. If you're interested, you can watch that after this. But usually my approach is I try to like feel my child's capacity to understand. And I started sharing these ideas to them when my first child is 7. So for those of you who do not know, I am a mother to 3 beautiful children. I have 8-year-old, 5, and 1.5. So I have 3 daughters. And so I always tell them like sex is for mom and dad after wedding, and it involves hugging, kissing, but there's more to that, which I'm going to tell you when you're big enough to understand. And you can ask me anytime you want. So that way we are like opening this conversation with them. And I also want to remind them that if you have any question about this topic, this issue, anything that you heard from friends, from social media, I want you to come to mom and dad and ask us question. And please don't search for an answer on the internet or from your friends. Just inviting them to come to me and talk to that whenever they're ready. I want them to hear that words from me first. And so that when they hear that in the future in their classroom or from their peers, they won't be shocked and they will be educated enough about these things. Number 2 is I always believe that prevention is better than cure. And build a boy than repairing a man. So that's what the Bible teaches us as well, that train up the child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And I've heard a parent say that be chill with parenting because we cannot really have all the control for our children. And I was like thinking, and I said like, for now, while they're still small, while these kids lives in my house, I would say that I have all the control of what kind of exposure I'm going to give them, what kind of food I'm going to introduce to them, right? But the moment they leave the house for university or maybe for work or maybe for they're going to marry someday, then I will have less access to them and less control of what kind of behaviors they're going to do outside my house. I also believe that less effort on my end to teach my child today while they're still young than teaching them someday when they're like old and they're exposed to the world and they have their own values, they're very opinionated and stuff like that. Idea number 3 is to caution your children, my children, about sharing these values that we have or sharing all these thoughts that we've talked inside our house to their friends. So I always tell Amanda, my 8-year-old, that hey, this is just our family values, because I know that when you go out there, your friends, your classmates, they may have different values than you are. So do not try to introduce this idea to them. Like, for example, don't tell them that we talk about drugs here, because your friends may not be ready to talk conversation, or even your teacher. Maybe your teacher will be shocked, like, why are you talking about this topic in your house, right? So I tell them, like, this is just a conversation. This is just our family values. This is our stand on this particular topic. So part of that is trying to teach my child to be as kind and considerate to other people's belief and value system. It's like, I'll tell them that, hey, Ate, Mia, or mostly with Amanda, my 8-year-old, that you may not agree with their behavior, like your friends or your classmates someday, but always accept feelings. Always acknowledge that their struggle is real. You may not agree with how they behave as a person, but try to be kind and compassionate to them, and understand that they struggle with identity issue, for example, with rebellious thoughts and things like this. I don't want my daughter to be in trouble, right? So as much as possible, I also invest time to remind her to stop sharing these values that we have to random people, unless they're really interested and they're like maybe big enough to care about knowing our value as a family. Finally, parenting is such a challenging job. And let's try to remember that children are gifts from God. So we have to enjoy them rather than being stressed about, am I doing this okay or not? And I always think that being a parent is more of a privilege than a responsibility. Even what we've been doing here is all by faith. No matter how hard we try, how hard we raise them in a godly way, they have their own choices when they grow up, and that's beyond our control, right? Like letting them go and trusting them to God. One of my dreams actually is to be able to sit comfortably with my husband on our retirement years and be grateful of what we have done with our children by the grace of God. No matter the result of this parenting, I'd love to be able to look back and tell myself that I've done my best in teaching them, educating them, discipling them in the way that I think is best for them. There you have it, some ideas about this parenting stuff that we are all learning. And it's okay to make mistakes sometimes. It's okay to chill, not to be super strict. We are in this together, and feel free to share your thoughts, your parenting style. I'd love to read them, and I'd like to learn from you as well. So until my next video, thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Bye.